goodness, what a good day. And I am so excited you guys are here and joining us as a part of the community here at eXp Realty. We cannot believe that you are all here joining us. And by the way, I want to just mention really quickly, if you could figure out one person in your phone who's a friend of yours who needs to be here. They want to grow their business. Maybe they're either having trouble or maybe they're kicking ass, right? But they need to be here anyway, because we're going to learn from two superstar top producers today on how they've been leveraging Google to grow their business fast. And these folks probably don't need an intro for most of you because you already know who they are. But I want to do it really quickly because I love these folks and they're amazing, giving their time just to help other agents, right? All of us go into real estate. We're like, I just want to help people. But then we forget that other real estate agents are people. Let's help each other too. That's awesome. So Liz Boisvert is unbelievable. She's a superstar trainer for KV Core, mega icon producer. She's won it a gajillion times, the Icon Award at eXp Realty, our top production award. She's a solopreneur. She is kicking butt. She and her husband, Bill, they are property investors. They are like, seriously, these guys knock my socks off every single year. They're doing something even more amazing than the last. And Liz is here today sharing what she's doing. Jake Rockwell, he and his team sell, I don't even know, like 700,000 homes a year or something like that. They're in 9 billion locations. Jake will tell you more accurately here in a minute. Jake's one of the smarter businessmen I've ever met in my life. I feel like every time I talk to him, I feel stupid, which is exciting for me. I love learning new stuff. He's so smart. And so these guys, when you put them together, this is like absolute rocket fuel today, guys. You have no idea. A training like this, I used to go to this stuff at my old brokerage. They'd charge me just $1,200 to walk in the front door. Today, you're getting it for free. So thank you, Liz and Bill, or Liz and Jake. Thank you guys for being here today. This is absolutely unbelievable. Really appreciate you guys.
Hey, we're so happy to be here. I'm speaking for myself. I know Jake and I, we really took some time to make sure that we were bringing the value for you today. And so I'm going to just like let Jake take over because he's going to show us some amazing stuff that I'm going to be taking notes. So I'm super excited for that. Go ahead.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Jeff, Lexi. What's up, everyone? Jake Rockwell here. First of all, congrats to the Bengals, Chiefs, and Philly fans out there that had your teams winning. For those 49er fans out there, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm still a little disgruntled. And this call isn't about football, but it is about competition. And in our business, we have to outwork the competition. We have to outsmart the competition, right? And so there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different tools to use to outsmart the competition and outwork them, really. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk a little bit about Google today. But first, I want to a little bit about my background. So I've been an entrepreneur pretty much all my life. I built multi-million-dollar companies. I got my real estate license about 10 years ago and built a team out of necessity, just, selling a bunch of homes and needed help doing that. And previously to that, had internet companies. So I did a lot of Google AdWords, spent millions of dollars in Google and ran some other companies as well. So when I got my license, instantly it was, how am I turning this business into a business? I didn't want to just be self-employed. I wanted a business around it. So Google was a big part of that in a lot of my businesses, including real estate. So that's a little bit my background. We've got 40, 50 agents. We're in Tennessee in 2 locations of Tennessee. We're in Phoenix. We've got Ryan Carter on the call. He's down in Vegas, killing it. We've got a 4-person team up in Salem, and then we got about 30, 35 agents here in Southern Oregon. And it's been fun. So I'm super excited to share about what I know and what Liz and I know when it comes to Google. And so I'll let Liz kind of jump in to start. I'm going to share my screen and get this rolling. So everyone see our screen?
Yep.
All righty. So Liz, I'm going to let you kind of jump in and how we're going to talk about how to leverage your business and grow through Google. One thing I do want to make sure everyone understands, what we go through today is about Google, but it can be replicated in multiple other places like Bing and so forth. So what you see here could also be replicated. So Liz, you got the floor. Nope, you're on mute.
There we go. So how does it work if he's sharing the screen, but I want to kind of like slide off to show some stuff?
Actually, so why don't you share, you have the slides on your screen, right?
I have them on a different screen.
So put them in the same tab
Okay.
as a tab.
Bear with me.
Well,
here.
actually, you can just share your screen. I can stop sharing. You can share.
Okay, sounds good. We'll just keep communicating.
So
Okay.
you want to go over what we're covering today?
I sure do. Yeah. So Glenn's story, that's kind of why, that's what inspired the class today. I was at EXPCon in 2022 and he was up on stage, and I don't know, raise of hands who was there. It was a great conference for me. You know, they really leaned into what the market that we were going into and what to focus on. And when Glenn speaks, I listen, right? He's the captain of my ship. And he was saying, you know, batten down the hatches, really start to focus on your business, slim down where you can. That's one of the first things we're going to cover. And then the Google My Business, I have really started to play with that a lot. Many of us have. I know Jake has. He built his business off of that. We'll talk about reviews. SEO is really the big topic here and how that all works. You take a combination of what I'm doing, you take a combination of what Jake's doing, you put it together and you've got a spark plug. We'll talk about Google rankings. Most of our content is going to be about AdWords and then local service ads. So
these are all pieces that Google offers to help us leverage our business and get seen, because it's really, as real estate agents, it's not about who we know, it's about who knows us, right? And so this is one sliver of one tool that can accomplish that.
Yeah. Next slide.
So I'll let you start with Glenn's story and what you heard when he was up on stage and so forth.
Yeah, like I said, when Glenn speaks, I listen. I think that he's the reason we're all here, and he really keeps his finger on the pulse. He uses a lot of the money that, you know, EXP has to stay ahead of the curve. But basically the gist of it was batten down the hatches. Really scrub your business and see where you can let go of things, right? Really make your business as strong as you can for this market or any market, right? Because now's a really good time to take a look at those things and make sure that you're spending your money wisely. And he said, you know, if you're part of a third party, say Zillow or realtor.com, and that's working for you, you have a partnership that's working for you, okay, keep doing it. But maybe you should consider how to create that for yourself, because you don't know what a third party is going to do. You don't know what direction they could take it. You know, we hear rumors of Zillow doing what, you know, bypassing agents and having their own agents, right? We don't need fear in our business. We need to be in control of our business. And so that's the gist of what he was saying, is take control of your business. And he said, I am an AdWords nerd. If you don't understand AdWords, it's time for you to do that. And Jake Rockwell had built his business with AdWords. And so another person, when Jake speaks, I listen, and I'm honored to be here with him today. But that's what inspired both of us to want to share with you what we're talking about today. It's how to take control of your business. And Google is a really great way to do that. And so we're going to just walk you through some basic steps. And I'll let Jake get into more of that now.
Yeah, and Google AdWords, I mean, that could be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 20-hour class, you know, to really deep in. And I got into Google AdWords back in 07 when I launched an e-commerce company, or several e-commerce companies, and it was early days of AdWords. And so it was somewhat, it wasn't nearly as advanced as it is today. But I remember the very first time I had a pet products website, and my page wasn't ranking in natural rankings. And we'll talk a little bit about that for those that don't understand natural versus paid. But I remember placing my first ad on Google AdWords, and then I go to sleep. And the very next morning I have a sale on my website, my very first sale. And it was the most beautiful thing, knowing that I could make money while I was sleeping. And so that's what got me into Google AdWords. I spent millions of dollars in Google AdWords with those companies. They did multi-millions of dollars in sales before I sold them in 07, before the crash. But what we're gonna, and I'll get into AdWords, and yeah, when I got my license in, because I had that experience in previous businesses, when I got my license in 13, I needed to come into a market where there's 20-year agents that have been around, and how was I going to make myself look like I was one of those top agents? And I remember doing that here locally, and there was very few people doing Google AdWords and paid search. And I jumped right in doing that. I was investing in Google AdWords, so I was getting all these leads. And then I had brokers coming to me that have been in the business forever. They're like, Jake, why are you showing up on my screen? Why is your ad showing up when I search on Google? And it was the funniest thing, because it's like, that's advertising. And then obviously that brokerage, implemented more of that and so forth. So anyway, what I want to jump into first, probably the most important, we're going to jump into some of the free stuff, because obviously Google AdWords, local service ads, some of that stuff is paid for type stuff. But the first thing I want to talk about is Google My Business. And this is where everyone needs to start. If you don't have a Google My Business page, that's what you need to do first. And that's totally free. You can do the same thing over on Bing. You can do the same thing on Yelp. You should have those pages just like you have a Facebook page, right? So, but Google My Business page, and you guys are still seeing my screen, right? Good. So what I'm going to do is, so Google My Business looks like, you basically have all of your information about your business. You may or may not have an address, but it's what shows up in the map section of Google when you're typing in. This is ours. It's not perfect, but it's, I don't like some of the pictures here and talking about how to get those changed. However, this is where it shows up, and I'll give you a little bit more of an example in real life. So like when I type in, real estate agents, Medford, Oregon, I'm going to scroll past these. So this is where it shows up. This is my Google business page, and you'll see, my page is right here. And when I click on that, then it pulls up my my business page. This is totally free to be in here. Now, it's only displaying 3 there, right? And obviously there's a lot more if I click more businesses, and how do you become one of the top 3? There's multiple variables. Liz will be talking about some of that as well, because you really don't want, you want to pop up right when someone is on that page. They're typing this and they're scrolling down, and these up here are local service ads. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but this is the My Business page. Okay. So you can show up in here for free. You can also pay to sponsor your ads so that you're always on the top of this list, and you can pay a little bit to do that, and we'll talk a little bit about that too. But initially, you're going to go to this page, and you're going to manage your business, and you're going to start a business. And if I just, I'll just kind of run through a little bit. And there's links on how to do this. If those of you that haven't done this, this is what you would do. And you're basically going to click through it. Google will walk you right through it. Obviously most of us are going to be in this service business area, and some of us aren't going to have addresses. Probably most of us aren't, but it's just going to walk you through. It's very basic, walking you through setting up your business page. Okay. And then obviously at the end of this, we'll have, we can do Q&A and so forth. Well, we can even do some of that in between for each section. But business category is obviously going to be real estate agents, and it already has, you might have a couple categories. You might want to even have agency in there and so forth. If I do real estate agents, and I'm not going to go through this whole thing to show you guys how to set up, because some of you probably already have this. You're going to select areas that you want to cover. Is it Jackson County? Whatever your county is, whatever your city. Okay. Any questions so far on the My Business?
Ben, Jake,
is that all right for me to ask questions, Jeff?
Absolutely.
All right. Any questions on My Business initially for now?
it's a lot, but it's also pretty intuitive. And we did put a link at the end as kind of walks you through it. But I got that link by, using Google to Google, how do I do this? So, that's how.
And here, when you're setting up your My Business page, yeah, you're going to have, the areas that you want to market. You're going to have your hours. What hours are you open? You'll notice on this screen, we're open 24 hours a day.
Hey, Jake, it looks like we have two great questions, or Liz, either one, in the chat right now. One says, if it pulls you up, does it say, quote, claim this? Is this you? That was the first question.
Yeah, that means if it's there, if it pulls up, that means you are either logged in with a different email. If you already have a My Business page and it says claim this, then you probably are logged in with a Google account that isn't already associated with that business address. If you haven't done a business page, but it shows up, that means it's some, Google found you. Yes, you would hit claim this business.
Perfect. And then Alicia asks, if you have a Google My Business already, how do you check what areas are currently linked to your profile?
What areas you would go in. So if you on this screen here, see where it says edit your business information below my phone number?
Yes.
You would click on that, and that should let you edit the areas that you want to be shown.
Perfect.
There's also there'll also be more information in there. I think maybe you can put in keywords and so forth to where you should up. So I'm setting up, I have a My Business page for each location. So that way it's specific to those locations for each of our expansion teams.
And I just want to say that his, Google Business, I don't have that edit your business information underneath my phone number for some reason. So I just go over to the left-hand side. So when you get in there, if you see something and it looks a little bit different, for whatever reason, ours look different, don't stress it, right? Just take your time, go through the tabs because it's there. For whatever.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm in two different accounts because I wanted to show you how to set up, but it won't do that when I already have it set up. So I had to log in another account. So what I'm doing is logging into my existing account for my Google My Business. Well, let me now what I'll do is and I'll just kind of show you it should serve I don't know why it doesn't have that on here, why I'm not able to edit that. All right, so let's do this. Sorry, I got a different browser deal there. Let's see here. Let's go to my business profile, sign in. All right. The quirks of Google here. I don't know why it's doing this.
Hey,
hang on a sec. All right, so My Business. There we go. So now I'm in my business. This is like my profile where it is. And if I I need to go to the real ones. And so like this is my main profile. And when I click on that in here, now you have edit my business information and you've got your different categories. You have your business name. This is how I like to do my business name because I keep Jake Rockwell in there just because it's, and then you have your description. I haven't put an opening date in there, phone number, website, locations, business location. It will, to put your address in there, if you want your address to be verified, it will send you a postcard and you need to verify that. Just go through that process. It'll ask you about that. But these are the service areas that we have put in here for this business page. Obviously in Salem, it's a different setup. Our hours, holiday hours, some we're not adding hours for specific stuff like that. Probably should be putting more into some of this stuff. Some of it doesn't matter. It doesn't pertain to our business. Service options, maybe offers online appointments. I don't have that set up, so I don't, but some people can hook their Calendly to that, which is nice because it'll show a link that says book an appointment. On-site services available. I'll go ahead and do that because we do have on-site services available. So that's setting. Go ahead.
Don't you think for the online appointments that could also just mean DigiSign too, right? The ability to do some electronic stuff.
No, this is for online appointments for like someone wants to book an appointment with you to talk about real estate.
Gotcha. Okay.
So DigiSign is more for like getting signatures, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So
can I ask you another question, Jake?
You bet.
So I kind of gone back and forth with the business hours. Like, I don't want to be open 24/7. Like, I have a life, but I also don't want to leave it blank. So I see that you just say open 24/7.
Yeah, when I'm
Yeah.
sleeping, I don't answer the phone.
Okay.
You know, so it doesn't matter. You know, I would rather get that voicemail and that phone number coming in.
Yeah.
And people call me at 10 o'clock at night or call our company 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
That's fine because we've now captured information.
I like that. Okay. I'm changing it right now as soon as we're done.
Okay. Online appointment scheduling, we use Calendly. Yeah, Calendly is what we use too. We just don't have it on our business page because I haven't, it's on a to-do list, figuring out if I do that, who's actually going to go on that appointment. What's that? It's just another lead, opportunity to gather, you know, if someone wants to put on an appointment, now you've got information. And if that appointment doesn't work, you know, you could do an office Calendly for like us, just an office Calendly. I can always find an agent to be at that appointment. So I should be implementing that. And Calendly links to this. So,
do you know if Acuity works with that as well, Jake? Acuity scheduling? I know some people have used that.
I don't know. I think I would have to go in and, well, let's just look here real quick.
It's not the end of the world. It's I think it's a little bit more expensive, so I would recommend everybody just go to Calendly anyway. If you're on Acuity, switch companies. There's my endorsement.
Yeah, and I think when you click on, you know, a hook to it probably gives you the options of which companies that Google works with. I don't know, maybe Google owns Calendly. I like Calendly too. So, all right, so that's Google My Business. Is there anything that I have missed with Google My Business? Obviously reviews, there's other parts of this that we're going to get to, but the more active in here, you can do comments on there, you can upload pictures. You're going to get people to respond to this. They can text you through this. They kind of changed it from My Google Business. Now it's a part of the Maps section in Google, but there's a link. If you don't have a My Business page set up, just go to that link, just follow the steps and start doing it. And now you've made progress. The key is not perfection, it's just progress, right? So
I have another question, Jake.
Yeah.
So you know how KV Core now has the new mobile app, the 360 Home. Do you suggest I don't know if you've looked into that, but this really great interface that helps someone through their entire journey. So, and there's a QR code or they can sign up. Would you think that something like that would be better on this main page for your website? Or do you think just directing traffic to your website is better?
And I don't know if you can do multiple websites on here. I haven't jumped into that app a lot. We're not using a ton of KV Core, but I do like that app. After I looked at some of it, it makes a lot of sense. You could direct people to the app. I would have to, I don't know the answer exactly on that because it depends on what you can do, because you should be able to, when they go to your website, it should have a pop-up to be on the app if they're on a mobile device, right? Because you want them to be able to do both. I'm not sure.
One's going to make them download an app and one is just going to take them to your website. So maybe the less steps that you have for them to get into your website, the better. That would probably be my answer for now, at least.
Yeah. Was there another question?
Yeah,
Jake. Hey, it's Christine here.
What's happening?
So yeah, you have multiple locations and you also have a lot of agents on your team. So what would be how does that work? Is it like they associate themselves with your company because you go in and you say, I work at, and they pull you, or do they have individual ones? How are you going to direct that to agents on teams?
Great question. So we have a basic one for our company. Then a lot of our agents have created their own My Business pages, and it would be Stacy, Drew, and Rockwell Group EXP Realty, because all of the advertising that our agents do include Rockwell Group and EXP. So they would have their own business page because we encourage them, hey, get your presence, build your own presence, and they will do that. Any business that comes in from my page, from the team or the company page, is a lead that is a team lead that goes out and distributed to the team members. If they have their own business page, then obviously those are leads that they're generated. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I was just curious how that worked with Google My Business. If it was you tagged yourself with an associated business this business I work at, or if it was they are their individual placement in my business. So
yeah, Stacy, I'm terrible. I can't think of an example.
I would think everybody
I'm
creates
terrible
their
spelling.
own business page and then they just have Rockwell in
See that
there.
right here?
Yeah.
See, here's Stacy on our team, her business page.
Mhm.
And she set it up, Rockwell Group eXp Realty. She's got her own reviews. She's kind of building her own. She even has the online appointment set up.
I love that.
Good for her.
And I did see that Lindsay, for anyone who doesn't know, Lindsay's the brains of the operation over at Rockwell. Lindsay said, we also have separate ones for the different locations. And so I think that the upshot here is more hooks in the water equals more fish caught.
So I'm a big marketing guy. I got a marketing degree. My biggest mindset when it comes to marketing, when I got started in this business and all my previous businesses, any which direction someone turns their head, I want my brand to be seen. So if they're at a softball game, I want my brand on the back of those softball jerseys, those players' jerseys. So that's how I think of marketing. That's why that's how I've built a lot of my companies, fairly quick. But anyway, so that's my business page. And any other questions before we kind of jump into a couple other things? Is that good? All right. And someone mentioned about leaving reviews, and that's a great point. Liz is going to be jumping on that here in just a minute. So now we're going to go into a few things. My business was, obviously that's a free thing. You can do paid searches. When you set up that business page, it'll ask you if you want to, promote your business page, and you would hit promote business page, and it'll walk you through promoting that so that it pops up at the top of those map sections. Okay. So we're going to go into some stuff regarding free stuff, which, would include reviews and SEO, and then we'll jump into some of the other paid stuff. So Liz is going to jump in. There's two different types of reviews. Liz is going to start with talking about leaving reviews and the importance of doing that, not only on Google, but on multiple locations, multiple portals, and so forth. So Liz, do you want to share your screen?
I do.
All right, I'm going to hit stop share, and you got it.
Okay, thank you.
How are we doing on time? All right.
Can everybody see?
We're doing great.
Can everybody see my Google dashboard?
Yes.
Okay. I've got two screens on, so on my mouse, if you ever see me looking through my I saw a funny meme the other day where she had like 6 screens open and she was like, I have no idea where my mouse is. So, all right. I want to talk to you a little bit about what Jake's going to get into about SEO, but there's a way to create relevancy besides just your regular website and being at the top of that natural Google. And one of the things I've started to lean into and how I'm doing that is through being a local guide, being a local expert. And this is kind of crude, but basically how I describe it is, where are you peeing on the trees? Where's your area? Jake, he said it, I love the way he put that, like anywhere someone looks, I want them to see me. I want them to know that I'm the local expert. And that's what I've started to do with Google as a local guide. And you can also do this through Yelp. I suggest that you do a little bit of both. And I have my main dashboard open because I want you to see how I get there. So any of the stuff that we're really talking about today, you go to Google and there's this, the little dots, and you can get to your mail, you can get to your account, you can get to your Google Drive. Like Google's basically taking over the world, Google and Amazon. So if you haven't jumped into the whole Google world, it's time to do it. There's your business Google profile, but I like to go to Maps because Maps is how I put myself on the map with some local guide expertise. So if I go to my favorite restaurant here in Independence, for those of you that don't know it, Bill and I have a EXP Indie Cafe here in Independence. That's where I want to be relevant. And to do that, I'm going to, I was taking some time to open up. I don't know why. Of course, there's some technical issues, but the way I do that is by going to restaurants and writing reviews. Give me 1 second for it to catch up. It's just not. Okay, I'll go this way. So this is what it looks like on my end. You can see as a local guide, I'm on level 4. To be honest, I don't know how many levels there are. I think there's at least 10. So I've got some work to do, and maybe you're even farther along than I am, and that's great. That's why we're all here collaborating. And next time you can teach the class too. But if you look, if you want to contribute, you can get to your profile settings. You can add photos to your map, but you can also just go directly to your reviews, and you can see here where I've been. And they say that the more words you use, the better. So you don't want to just go in and say like, this place was great. Like you really want to put some thought into what you're saying and describing the place. Basically paint a picture for people when they see your review. And then you want to add photos. This is this great tapas place in town in Salem that I just absolutely adore. So I'm not going to limit it to just Independence. I basically have started to do this anywhere I go. Like when I went to Maine, I was writing reviews there. There's nothing wrong with being a global guide, right? Especially at EXP, we're global. Like, why not? But I'm definitely going to want to do as many as I can in my local market. And so it's fun, and you can share them from here to your social media. That way people start to get the idea that you are a local guide, and then they can start to follow you. Look at my photos. And then it shows on the map where I've been. And then I've got my screen popping down, bear with me here. I put this link in at the last slides. This is where you'll get started, and it's one of those links, so you don't have to play around with it too much here, but it's easy to walk through. And it turns out there's an entire world of guides, and they highlight them. I think they even have like gilding stars. These are people that have just like really changed Google and the world that we're in. This person, he's at level 10. So clearly the levels go up to 10. And I guarantee if you're taking the time to nurture yourself as this local guide and pee on the trees, that Google's going to see that you're more relevant, right? So then you start doing the other things that Jake is doing. And this is kind of the back end, right? You're creating this big picture of being able to look anywhere and they'll see you. I had a lender call me the other day and she's like, Liz, I can't get away from you. Anywhere I look in Independence, you're there. And I like that. If somebody walks into a restaurant, they're seeing my review and they're seeing my face. And so that's the point. There's things that you can do that someone walks into a door and they actually will start seeing you on their phone. And that's above my pay grade. I mean, hire someone to do this stuff. Jake will get into that a little more later. But I'm trying to do it organically and I'm trying to do it for free. And so being a local guide is one of the ways I'm doing that. If you go to your favorite park where you like to take your dogs, take a picture of the sign and describe why you love that park and write a review about it online. Now you can do a little bit of this on Yelp because Yelp will also pop up when people are searching for restaurants and other things. So you do want to nurture both, but I'm really leaning into Google right now. I want to be your Google expert because in my opinion, Google is taking over the world.
Liz,
Yeah.
Emily just asked, do you review under a different profile like your personal or through your Google My Business profile?
No, it's all through my profile. Everything's through Google.
Yeah, that's what shows you as the realtor. I think this is awesome. This is not something that I've been doing, but I'm going to start implementing into our company, Lindsay. Because yeah, when I look at reviews all the time, I use Yelp more than I use Google when it comes to like restaurants and so forth. But Google has a lot of authority. Yelp has a lot of authority, and Google actually shows a lot of Yelp reviews when it's in the search. And yeah, when you're looking at reviews and you see a real estate agent's name and it clearly shows that, and especially if you do your, say, when you're doing your review, I was showing homes one day and I took my client to lunch here. Now you're actually showing what you're doing as a real estate agent, and it's ding ding. And when they see your name and you active like that, you like Liz said, you're the authority in the market for the local service guide. So really, really awesome, Liz, that you're doing that, and I'm glad you shared.
Liz, additionally, we did have a question. Do you leave reviews even if it's not a 5-star?
You know, that's a really great question. I haven't. I have left a review for a company, a property management company that was burning my client. And they were really, really causing some trouble for my client. And I left that company a review. And guess who? They called my client immediately. And they fixed it immediately. And I agreed to take the ad down once they took care of my client. So I'm not some food critic that's going to be in some food magazine someday because I'm like Miss Snob Liz that's like food critic. It's more about me showing you who and where I love. But before I pass this baton back to Jake, because his stuff is really where it's so in depth, I really want you to be able to focus on that. I want to just show you 2 more things. One of those things is you used to be able to blog on Google, but now they just call it an update, right? So I have our bio here. We can review all of our natural reviews, but we've got an ad update. And when you do that, you can just add a photo and it will, a little snapshot. This is from EXPCon in 2022. So take some time to do that too, because if someone really dives into your Google profile, you want them to see depth. You want them to see that you really are an expert and a local guide. And so that will just add another layer. The other thing I wanted to show you is something I'm playing with, and I don't necessarily love it yet, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm starting to build the back end of this. So if you go to my local guide, I've got lists here. These are just my private lists, things that I frequent all the time. I could even do places that I visited, and those are settings in there. But look at, I created Independence and the top 5 parks I like to visit, right? So ideally, I would be having so much traffic as a local guide that they'll see my parks and start visiting them, and then they can add photos. Like, it really is endless. Like, I have just scratched at the surface, especially when you look at your local guides connect here and people from all over the world that are contributing in ways that are changing lives. There's a little short video that I would love to share you, but I want you to get to Jake's stuff. But just take some time. This link is also at the end to explore the world and to explore it through the eyes of other people. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on, is how to be a local guide for free to add relevancy to your Google. There you go. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Is there any questions about that maybe before I stop sharing, in case I need to touch on something? Pretty self-explanatory.
That's so awesome. And Lindsay, if you're on the call, my marketing director, Google updates, that update, that should be done daily. We'll talk about that stuff. The local service guide, we're big on, we're trying to produce a full-blown concierge service in Southern Oregon, to where we want every single person in the population to think that they can call us for anything that they want. Recommendation for an electrician, recommendation for a restaurant, a dog park, a daycare, whatever. So we're really starting to build that. That's one of our big projects for the year. And the local service guide is an incredible way to do that, because now you just create a link, a list of all those things, and that can be put right onto your website. And you have a page that says top dog parks. Click here and it takes them right to that Google page. So that's awesome, Liz.
You can also do your top 5 inspectors.
Yeah, all of them.
List, and some of them just don't have a relevant website, whatever. That's something I can talk to them about. But like, okay, here's my top 5 lenders. Here's my top 5 inspectors. And so if you wouldn't mind, if you take a minute, take some time to go into me as a local guide. I'm trying to figure out exactly the best way to do that. Maybe I have to share a link with you, but follow me, right? And you can start to be inspired by what I'm doing, and then I can follow you back, because you're going to generate followers, and that's also going to generate your relevance. I could sit here and do this all day long, but if no one's following me in order to see what I'm doing, then it's like, what is it doing, right? So take a second to do that. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, Lindsay's probably pulling her hair out now. She's like, we got a big project here. You can also do these same lists with Yelp. I was doing that with a vacation rental I have down in Arizona to help the visitors or the guests at our house here's the top restaurants that we love and that type of thing. So you can kind of do the same thing. So let me share my screen and jump into some more stuff.
You know, Jake, that's a really good idea because we own an Airbnb. So I could start sharing that.
Yeah, because you're gonna get people in that Airbnb say, hey, what restaurants do you like? Well, I don't want to have to type in all the restaurants again. I just give them a link.
Love that.
So, all right, so we're back to this page. We were talking about leaving reviews, making you look like you're the authority in the market when it comes to knowing your area and so forth. The other flip side of it is getting reviews, and I cannot stress and I brought this from previous businesses when I was when I had my e-commerce companies, when I had my car business, my brewery business. Yes, I had a lot of businesses, and luckily they were all successful. But reviews are huge, and especially in this business, and receiving those reviews and getting those reviews. I can't tell you how many calls we get. You have the most reviews. How many agents that are sending referrals to us, because when they come and type in agent Medford, Oregon, they're looking at reviews. When people are on Zillow, they're looking at reviews. Realtor.com, all these places, right? So getting reviews is extremely important. You'll look on our Google business page. I think we have 150, 160 reviews on Google, and we try to get reviews in all of those areas. Yelp, so you got Google, Yelp, Facebook, Realtor.com, Zillow, and there's probably some more. And someone had asked, is there a place where you can just distribute all your reviews? And I saw the link. I opened up that link called Push Online. I don't know, because a lot of these review places require someone to have an account. Like Zillow, they cannot leave a review on Zillow without logging into Zillow. So it depends. I'm not sure if that is possible or not with like the ones that matter to real estate agents. But what we do, because you want this to show up on your Google page, we're mainly talking about Google, but we have been really diligent about getting reviews and getting our past clients to give us reviews. And even it doesn't always have to be a past client. It can be anybody that you've worked with, showed them homes, but they didn't buy. Any of those people, all of your friends, all the people you know, when they leave a review, it can be the form of a recommendation, right? Especially on Google. Since we're talking about Google, you can do a lot of that. And so sending the link directly to the people you know and asking them to provide you with reviews or recommendations, then they can leave a comment in there, right? What we do a lot of times, so importance of leaving reviews, we kind of jumping into this shows up in the maps area. But what we do is every time we have a closing, and everyone has the ability to do this in KV Core or whatever CRM you have, every time there's a closing, an action plan or a campaign gets triggered. And once we put it into close, we have that campaign, and it does multiple things. One, obviously reminding us to follow up week 1, week 2, 30 days out, how's the house, all this kind of stuff. But what's also in there is an email and a text, multiple ones, asking our clients to, and this is a sample of what our email looks like here on the right. And we have Lindsay made nice colored little buttons so that they can easily click to each one and give us a review on those. Everyone's not giving us a review on everyone. We're not getting reviews, but I know for a fact, not sending this email will get me less reviews, because sending this email, and it's just automated. The moment I update the stage in my CRM, this gets triggered to go out in a week or 2. Obviously, we want people to get settled in before asking for these reviews. You can also ask for reviews mid-transaction when they first get their offer accepted, probably the best time before something maybe bad could happen, right? So get those reviews and say, hey, would you mind giving me a review, that if they're really happy? You got to make that as a part of working on the business, because this will create an incredible amount of business when you have lots of 5-star reviews. Same with like anything. I mean, our vacation rental, we have a ton of 5-star reviews, and it gets booked nonstop because of a lot of times because of those reviews. So automated email. We also have a text reminder that automatically sends them a text that says, hey, you received an email about reviews. We'd love reviews, something nice. It really helps our business. We had I know you had a great experience with our agent, yada, yada, whatever that message might be. Any questions on that? Anybody not doing this on an automatic basis to where every closing you're requesting those reviews? If you're not doing that, it's an easy thing to do in KV Core or your CRM. The other thing that we did, just kind of a trick that we did, we do client events, and we have an annual party every year, and we give away prizes to those at that party. And we use raffle tickets. And I started this year one when we were giving prizes. I said, okay, here's a card, here's links to the places that we want reviews. For every review you leave us, you'll get an extra raffle ticket for that prize. But we've made it very clear that we're not looking for people to leave us reviews that didn't work with us or don't recommend us. But a lot of them, they may have already given us a Google review, but maybe they didn't give us a Zillow or a Nextdoor or a Realtor or Yelp or Facebook review. So they could have, in essence, do 5 or 6 reviews, and they get more tickets. And that helps boost reviews. You don't have to have an annual party to do that. You could just email your database or all your past clients and say, hey, we're giving away a gift basket. And you get 1 entry for every review. You've worked with us in the past. Would you be willing to give us a review? And we'll enter you into a drawing for this awesome gift basket. And the money you spend on that gift basket will have an incredible ROI doing this.
I think that's awesome. One of the things that I'll mention is, like, if you're a newer agent, you're on here and you're thinking, well, I don't have 6,000 past clients or whatever. That's awesome. You have people who know, maybe you had a career previously and somebody's willing to go on there and be like, Bob is like the most trustworthy guy I know. That's an honest 5-star review for you as a professional. I think it's more than appropriate on most of these channels. This is not like a certified review, right? There are some channels that actually ask like that. Zillow for the longest time was saying, like, what specific address did you close a transaction with this agent? So don't game that system, but you're not gaming this by getting somebody to say that you're a strong professional. I think that's a legitimate review and should be part of your profile.
Absolutely. If you've worked with them in the past, they've seen you in another business work. If they trust you, it's a recommendation, right? And I know realtor.com has recommendations that you can put in there. They also have reviews, but absolutely. And Google doesn't police that like maybe Zillow might, because Zillow, you have to match it up with the property. Yelp is another conversation, but I won't even go into that. Anyway, can
I speak on that really quick? Just to jump in.
Yeah.
As far as the reviews, you can review your favorite agents, right? Because that leads us into attraction and people that you want to surround yourself. If you have a transaction with an agent that you just absolutely loved, you're going to review them. Allie and I, that's something we've already incorporated into our business. But there is a way in KV Core that you can, once say it gets moved to closed, it automates the next step. And you can send your clients an email once that trigger happens that will have all of your links in it.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
And you can even have it in 6 months. What we do is we take it a step further. In 6 months, we automatically change the stage to SOI or Sphere. That way it moves into that bucket, right? But yeah, it's just all automated through the campaigns or action plans that you have within your CRM. And someone, yeah, you can, you can use KV Core for all your mailing. You don't necessarily need MailChimp. It's a little bit bigger conversation on KV Core. Sometimes emails don't get all the way through, and emailing is fine. I think that there's other forms of communication too that are really valuable with texting and calling. But I know we use MailChimp on some things, and we use KV Core or our CRM on others. So in an effort to keep this moving, I'm going to jump into the next section. We're going to talk a little bit about SEO and search engine optimization. For those of you who don't know, SEO is for websites and getting you into the natural search rankings, which, bringing up this, you see, whenever you see an ad word, a word that says ad, these are AdWords. These are what we're going to talk about in a few, but this is paid search. This is what made me millions of dollars, because I just instead of trying to get natural rankings, I just paid to get on top of the list. And they make it look like it's part of the regular search. If you notice, it looks very similar. There's just a little word ad next to it, right? So, and to kind of show a little bit more of that, you've got ads, you have map stuff, and then you have natural rankings. These, if you show up in this list, you're getting free leads, free traffic, free, just free traffic. And so it's very difficult to show up in this, the natural rankings, especially for like homes for sale in Medford, because you have the big guys that are just going to outspend you and outdo it. I used to spend $5,000 a month for a company to do SEO on my billiards website. And yes, we ranked #1 for the word billiards at that time. That's why it was a multi-million-dollar company. That helped a ton. But it's hard to beat Yelp and realtor.com and Zillow and Remax and some of these bigger companies. So you may not rank for words like this, but maybe homes in East Medford, East Medford homes for sale. You have one sponsored ad, and then you have Zillow, Property Shark, John L. Scott. You have these competitors, but my website seems to show up there, eventually, right? So that's a natural ranking. If someone clicks on here, I'm not paying anything for that lead, if it turns into a lead. So that's what SEO is. Now, SEO it can be complex, and I don't want to get too deep into it. I want to show you guys a couple things in KV Core that you can do to help SEO, but there's a lot of things that go into like getting your page to rank. Some of it was what Liz was talking about and getting reviews. Some of it's going to be video on YouTube, linking back to websites. So you have link building. If there's a link to your website on other pages, then that helps. And on Zillow, we used to be able to put a link on Zillow, on a listing on Zillow that linked directly to that same house on our website. And that would be a link to our website from an authority website. Zillow doesn't allow that now, but you might submit your links to directories, Google My Business, and so forth. Then there's keywords like, when you're doing your website and you're building pages in your website, for those of you who are doing that, and I'll show you in a minute how to do some of that, you're using keywords in your descriptions. When you have a page that talks about an area of your town, like East Medford, I'm going to type in a paragraph about East Medford using keywords, homes for sale in East Medford, Medford homes for sale, East Medford, or whatever. You're using keywords, and that's what the keyword part of it is. Then you have some off-page SEO where your social media links to it, press releases. There's just a lot of different. This is a much bigger topic, but it's a long play. AdWords is instant when you're doing paid ads. SEO is a long play to where over time, if you can get in those natural rankings for a lot of different phrases, and it can really turn into a lot of traffic to your website. Traffic means leads, right? So most people are using KV Core. We use Real Geeks. Some people, but every website has these options. And so having more content is king. The more blogs you're doing, the more pages that you have. With Real Geeks, I was able to hire a company that is in the middle of this project. They're producing 3,200 pages for me of content that have to do with like areas of the areas we serve, like Medford, East Medford, Talent, all these towns, and then a bunch of pages within each of those that talk about homes from 100 to 200,000 in East Medford, homes from 200 to 300,000 East Medford. There's a page specifically for that stuff, and you can do a lot of that in KV Core. So under the website and IDX, for those of you who are using this, again, if you're using a different place for your web page, they're going to have the same type of thing. But in here, custom pages, if I want to create a custom page, something that's important that this is showing here on page SEO, this circle here, there's what's called, obviously you're going to put in your content and title and all that into this page, but meta tags, old school, but important. Every page needs to have meta tags. You have a meta tag description, 2-sentence overview of this page. And in that description, you're using some keywords that you want to show up in Google search. If they type in that, do you want this page to show up? What would someone type in to Google that would make this page show up? That's what you would put in a description. Same with keywords. You would do, East Medford homes for sale. It's keywords or key phrases, okay? And you would do a comma there. And you can do a bunch of keywords there, but make sure that the keywords are specifically for what that page is about. Google doesn't want to see 100 keywords that aren't about that page, okay? So if this page is East Medford homes, then make it all about East Medford. Follow me?
Yeah, that's great.
And you can do this on, within KV Core or any website.
What's the RSS property feed that was just below it that was optional? And if it's not important, we can just move on, but.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know some stuff, not everything,
So
but
much,
I used to know what that meant. I can't remember what that is.
And it must not be that important.
It might be. That doesn't mean it's not important, but you just Google, you just copy this and Google it and tell you.
Word. Okay.
That's what we're talking about. Google has everything, all the information we need until chat OpenAI comes into play. And that's another conversation. The next thing is in KV Core, you'll see when you click on Web and IDX, there is a service areas and SEO button here.
Very important.
And you'll notice that we have not enough, but we don't use, again, we're not using KV Core for our main website, but I should be building this, but the to-do list is too long. Anyway, you can have a specific page named by doing this. And if you do this, you basically, how do I add a new one? Add right here. So I can add, I don't know, East Medford, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Somewhere in here, you should be able to add a new page. You might have to add the service areas somewhere else in here. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much time trying to get that figured out. But in KV Core, adding this stuff will allow you to put in your keywords that you want this page to show up at. The page text, like whatever the paragraph might be at that page, for that page, and then the display text. Okay, 30 minutes, Jeff says. All right, so SEO, again, I hire people to do that. I mean, we do some stuff, that contributes to it, but when it comes to SEO, comes to AdWords, comes to some of this, some of us are beginning in the business and we don't have money to pay others to do it. But ultimately, we have to get to that point because we have to hire people that do what they do best. I don't do my own AdWords anymore because there's too much stuff there. And I want to spend time doing what I do best. And agents, what their main focus should be conversations with with clients, showing homes and listing homes. That's what they should be doing. So even if you don't have an extra $500 to spend to hire someone to do your AdWords, you should think of that as an investment, because if you do pay that $500 and you force yourself to pay it, they're going to give you a return on your investment better than you are with your time trying to get all this done. So you can do some of it on your own, but again, I think ultimately you've got to get to a point to where you're paying someone to do this stuff. My opinion. Easier said than done, I know, but think of it as an investment. You invest in stock, it doesn't pay you day one, right?
Well, and I asked Jake, I said, Jake, if I do this, it's just going to pay for itself. And he's like, yeah, if you're doing it right, like hire someone else to do it. You just keep selling real estate. I'm like, okay.
And obviously SEO is free. So anything that you do on SEO is progress. Any of that kind of stuff that we just talked about, you do, adding a new page. I mean, if you're going to work on your business, maybe go in and add a new page every week, some kind of content. It can be a new area that you want to talk about, and then you can set up a search so that it shows all the houses in that area. but you can also do a page about you or about a restaurant or whatever. You can do all kinds of content in there. And when you're typing that content, you're thinking about the words that someone might type in to Google to find that information. And that's the words and phrases that should be in your description, in your wording on that page. Follow me? Okay. Any quick questions on SEO? Fiverr, SEO expert, Fiverr Pro. Yeah, Fiverr's a great area to get content.
Jake,
another great area, guys. I'm sorry for all the content writers in the world, but their jobs are being challenged at a high level right now with OpenAI. If you haven't seen what OpenAI is doing, it's going to change a lot of what's going on in the world, and it's good and bad. But we're OpenAI. I can type in just the details of a house listing that I'm listing, and it types up a beautiful description that no other that agents have a hard time typing up. Our listing coordinator is now using OpenAI to help with our listing descriptions, the marketing remarks. On another time, type in chat.openai.com, mess with it, you'll be amazed. All right, Google AdWords. All right. This is what really, got me off the map with my e-commerce companies and my real estate business. I jumped right in and started doing AdWords. And there's a lot of details. Again, this is something that it can be easy to spend too much money in here if you don't do it right. So luckily, Google nowadays from back then makes it really easy walking you through how to set up your Google AdWords. And you can put budgets on there so that way you're not overspending. This is kind of what a platform looks like in the back end. You don't need to dwell on this a little bit, but basically think of Google AdWords as I want my ad to show up when someone types this in. If someone types in Medford homes for sale, I want my ad to show up. If someone types in Medford homes for rent, I don't want my ads to show up, right? So when I produce an ad, and then I type a whole list of words that I want my ad to show up when those words are typed, those words or phrases, okay? So think of it that way. You got to put yourself in the person's shoes. What are they, if I want to show them East Medford homes for sale, what words and phrases will they type into the Google search bar? That's what Google AdWords is. And then it's all about what your ad says. When they click, where does it take them? If you have an ad that says East Medford homes for sale, search all of MLS, and they click that, you want that page to go directly to a page that shows them just East Medford homes for sale. Follow me? So there's some more details in here, and I'm going to jump into some of it real quick. But there's what's called match type, and this is something that you can break it down into campaigns, and then you have ad groups. Like I might do East Medford homes, but I want different groups talking about East Medford homes. Or I might do one campaign is just Medford, and then I'll do ad groups for each town within Medford or each area of Medford. This is getting a little bit higher level of AdWords. Again, it'll walk you through some of it, but match types, you really want to pay attention to exact match. Exact match is I only want my ad to show up exactly when these two words are typed in. That's exact match. Then you have what's called phrase match, where it will type in anytime if this phrase is Medford homes for sale, I want to show up when that is typed in, and any word that's added to either side of that phrase match. But that may not always work. Medford homes for sale and rent, I may not want it to show up. So you got to be careful. And then you have broad match, where if you put Medford homes for sale, it'll show your ad on homes for sale or Ashland homes for sale. It'll show up for a lot of things, which will cause you to burn through clicks that maybe don't warrant a click. I'm going to jump into, I'm going to move this. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All righty. So I'm going to jump in. I'm jumping in an account that I don't have an AdWords account. So you go, if you just type in Google AdWords into Google, you'll get to a page and it'll bring you here, new campaign. And when I hit new campaign, it's going to say, let's get started. What business page do I want to use? Remember, we did my business page earlier. So we're going to choose which business page we want. So if we do that, or I don't have a business profile, but everyone should have a business profile by this point. So I'm going to click next. And there's different kinds of ads you can do. Do you want to just promote your business profile? Which is what I do both, but that way you're up in the top of that map section, okay? Or do you want to promote people to go to your website? This AdWords would, you could do both, but like in this instance, I'm going to go website. And it's Google's gotten a lot smarter. It didn't do all this. It scanned my website to think of all these keywords that maybe I could use. And I haven't been in here in a while, but this is our desktop, and it's confirming, I think, that thanks. People come here after they click your ad, and this is correct. However, depending on the ad, I'm going to have a different URL. Like if it's East Medford Homes, I'm going to take them directly to the page that shows East Medford Homes. Next, get more calls, get more website sales or leads, get more visits to your physical location. Again, this wasn't like this back in the day, but it's now Google's making it very easy for helping you do what you want to do. And you just choose, what do you want more of? I do the get more calls, and I do more website sales or leads. I do both because I love when the phone rings. People come to, they type in some keywords, East Medford Homes for Sale. They see my business page, they see all the Google reviews, and they click the phone number, and bam, we get an inbound call, people calling us. But some of us have websites, and when they go to our website, it forces them to sign up to look at more pictures, and that's where the leads come from. If I choose this one, I'm now writing an ad. And when you're writing an ad, you got 3 headlines that will show up in here. I do a lot of times, I'll do Rockwell. And it looks like it's trying to do some of it for us. It looks like it did. Actually, it wrote the ad for me based on what my website said. I need to take out. This is what it already had for me right here. This is what the ad looked like. But I would probably change that and talk about, maybe, how I can help them, or maybe some of our stats, Southern Oregon's, one of Southern Oregon's top teams, or whatever you put in there. But you would do multiple ads to see what works. If I do that, I'm just going to hit next. Maybe not. Shorten my description. Okay, box isn't red anymore. This number needs to go in here. And it's got my location here. I hit next. And now we're looking for keywords that we want our ads to show up on. Okay, keywords that we want our ads to show up on. Do we want our ad to show up when people type in new real estate agent? Heck no. Do we want to show up when they type in real estate agency? Maybe, but that's pretty broad, and that might be a lot of competition for that one. What was that?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So when a company redirects you, like say I type in, I don't know, say I type in Coldwell Banker and it takes me to Zillow because I didn't really read it well enough. I just clicked on the first one that came up. It was an ad. How does that work?
Yeah, that's funny you asked, because basically Zillow, if you typed in Coldwell Banker, so as an agent, and I did this, and this pissed a lot of agents off, I created keywords whenever someone typed in Jeff Richmond real estate. I want my ad to show up. How's that make you feel, Jeff? But you don't have any control over that, because that's just what I can do, and anybody can do that. If you want to show up, you want your ad to show up when when someone types in the competition, which is what happened with you, Bill. You typed in someone else's, but Zillow's like, we're gonna have our ad show up when you type that. That's why Zillow's everywhere, but they have billions of dollars. So I did a lot of that early days, and I did it with JJ Kramer, and it was it doesn't give you as good of results, because if they're typing in an actual agent, most of the time they want that agent. But I had calls. When I worked at John L. Scott, I even made my ad show up when someone typed in John L. Scott, just that. And when they clicked on my ad and they called, is this John L. Scott? You bet it is. This is Jake Rockwell with John L. Scott. I could create an ad that says eXp Realty, Medford, Oregon, and my ad will show up for that. As long as I choose it in one of these keywords, I don't have to choose any of these keywords. I can type in, watch this. If I click this, I'm going to eliminate that, and it doesn't change there, but I would probably, let's see here. Let me just hit next. I want to see what it does. I want to go back now. Suggested keyword. Oh, these are keyword themes. So you would put in like a keyword theme like Medford homes for sale, or maybe you would be Medford real estate agent. This is a theme. These are not keywords. I'm sorry. When you do this, it will then later on produce a long list of keywords that are within those themes. Does that make sense? If I click next, let's see what it does. This is important. You do not want to cover the entire country. You want to cover your area. But don't think that because you're just covering your area that only people sitting in Jackson County see your ads. It'll be anybody that's looking in Jackson County, or anybody that's sitting in Jackson County. So what I do is it would be Jackson and Josephine County, or whatever area I'm in. I'm hitting next. Select a budget. How much do you want to spend a day? Or enter your own budget. And then review your campaign, and you're reviewing the campaign. I don't want to review your campaign to be sure it's right.
Jake, my question is relevant to this section of pay for your ad. You know how all of these different websites, Commissions Inc., KV Core, all of those offers the hire us to do, your ad spend, doing all of that. So do you feel that when you have more control over doing it this way, you're going to get better results than just throwing money out monthly, like $1 spent, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever, to that ad spend, and they control all of the AdWord and all of that kind of stuff? What would you recommend to anybody?
Well, I pay other people to do it because I know they can do it better. Yes, you could have more control, but if you have more control, you're trading it for time. And you have to balance time and money, right?
Right. So you're saying that they do it's likely that they're doing what you need done.
It depends on who you hire. I don't like to hire KV Core and people like that. There are better people. I use a guy named Brian Short that does all of my AdWords. He controls my AdWords. If I ever end Brian Short, I have to recreate my own. I'm going to be looking more at Ylopo. They do the same thing for me. They control the AdWords, but at the end of the day, I really don't want to spend time doing this. I do a little bit of it just for like my business page and getting phone calls, but they know how to do keyword research. They know how to write better copy. They know how to bring leads in. And so again, someone that does it for a living is normally going to do it better. But for those that don't want to, like Brian Short, I pay $500 a month for him to manage it all. Some of these companies, Sync, and some of those, they'll do it for free. But some of them just do it, and it's not really your spend. They're just charging you per lead. It just kind of depends on who you hire and how much competition is in the market also hiring the same company, because then there's a little bit of a conflict of interest. Who are they working on harder? That's why, you just find someone. There's lots of people that do it, but you want someone that is specific to the real estate industry.
So how do you find a Brian Short?
Huh?
How do you find a Brian Short?
Call Brian Short. Bryan. Tell him I sent you. He's good. He's good in the industry.
Okay,
hey, Jake.
So look him up.
Yeah.
So hold on a second.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Since you're such a numbers guy, tell us what your ROI is on your $500 a month to Brian Short.
I don't know. I do a lot of things good, but I'm not perfect on it. And I don't know that exactly what the ROI is. Over the years, early on, I was not a very good tracker. Now we do a lot of tracking and we're really improving. I don't know what the exact number on the ROI. I know that a lot of our sales when you separate sphere of influence, that our biggest source of sales is pay-per-click advertising, which is Google AdWords. It's, I got, like a lot of people got a little lazy during the hot market. Just lots of sales, things were easy. There was lots of income, profit, and all that. We're dialing more into that. We switch CRMs. We use Sisu for our tracking. We're doing things on a little bit, on a level that not necessarily individual agents can do right out the gate, but you need to, in KV Core. So when you're getting your leads in KV Core or any CRM, you got to make sure that source is right, because then you can really figure all that out. When we look at our sales in Sisu, we can determine exactly out of the 400, 500 sales we do, what was the, what sales came from what source. But then you have to say, okay, how much did we spend on that source? And Lindsay and I have been working on that over the last year to really kind of figure that out. I don't know the exact answer on the ROI. I will guarantee you that it's not high enough, but it never will be. It's just, there's always a better way. There's always improvement to be made. And so that's where working on the business, versus in the business has to be a part of your week, part of your month. And this is like working on the business type stuff. Okay. So again, Google's going to do a really good job walking you through setting up your ads. And I don't know what this will do if I hit next. I guess we can try it. I don't want any ads to go live because it'll measure what people do on your website. So this is, there's Google Analytics. Then you can set up Google Analytics so you can really see a lot of that. But back to your question, you can spend a lot of time doing this stuff and it's not the best use of your time. It's just, you want people to understand that if you're not doing Google AdWords, you should be. If it's a great source of leads, and there's even a whole nother level that it can go to that I'm looking at right now that I heard from another EXP agent what they're doing. They're doing a different level of AdWords that I want to jump into, which involves bringing someone to a page and asking them a series of questions, leading them to the end to where they book appointment, call, or provide me a higher quality lead, which is kind of like what YLOPO does. Anyway, I want to break from this because we got to finish one more topic, but there's a lot that goes into Google AdWords. Okay. And this is just a very, very, very first millimeter of the surface of what it is. If you didn't know about Google Ads, now you do. Now you need to kind of figure out, okay, how do I want to implement it in my business? Do I want those leads? And people told me, well, I had someone tell me yesterday, well, I want a business that is just my sphere of influence, and that I don't want to have to pay for leads. Well, I get that. And if I would have done that starting day one, I would be 5 years behind I am now, because all I did is every lead that I get is a future sphere of influence, right? So I'm just speeding up the process. I'm just speeding up what I want to accomplish. And so that's, 10 years of spending money and doing that. It's boosted all of the repeat business and the referral business that I get now because we did more business by paying to do it. Okay. So any questions on Google AdWords before I take the last few minutes to talk about local service ads? Again, this could be a whole class, Jeff. This could be something that could go in deeper. And maybe it's some other person that really has some in-depth on it that can do it. But, again, Brian Short, there's a bunch of companies. You would just, you got to network and get into workplace and ask who are other people using, right? And you ask, I'm just using Brian Short. There's another company on Philip with Asterisk Marketing. They do the same thing, and he's supposed to be pretty good too.
You know what I'd love is everybody who's on the call, first off, just show a little bit of love in the chat, but beyond that, hit us up with a me if you'd love to see a whole separate session on Google AdWords. We bring in an expert or two to really knock that out of the park. Just pop us a me down in the comments so we know that that's something you really want. Thanks, Jake. Keep going, man. This is awesome.
All right. Yeah, you could spend way too much time in here. I did that early days. And you can, you can do it, okay, and at least get started. And you're gonna get, especially if you just promote your My Business page so that it's at the top of the map section and people call you, and you're gonna just pay per call versus per click. Pay per click. Every time someone clicks on your ad, you're paying. And there's more details with that. That doesn't mean you get a lead. That just means you just paid since they clicked. And so if you say free home, then you're going to get a lot more clicks, right? Free homes, so you got to be careful on what your ad says and make sure that you only want people to click that are looking for what you have. The reason this is better than Facebook is because on Facebook, your ad shows up in their timeline and people just like, nice picture, click. And now you've paid, but they weren't searching for you. AdWords, people are typing something into Google, looking for some information and found you. It's a higher quality lead than Facebook advertising by far. Facebook is cheaper. You get what you pay for. All right, local service ads. So local service ads is something somewhat new. My coach told me about this coming out a year or two ago. Some of you may already have it. Yes, my name's not in these top 3, damn it. Sometimes it is, but they rotate it. Local service ads is something new for service providers, and real estate agents are one of them. It could be an electrician or whatever. There's a certain list of people that can do local service ads. And this is something where they are now putting it at the very top. When someone types in real estate agent, Medford, Oregon, they're seeing these. Obviously, if someone wants to look at more, then you're going to see a list of them here. And, we're in there somewhere. Local service ads, you're paying like a per lead basis. But when you get a lead, it's a lead. And you pay X amount for that lead. And you can say how much you're willing to pay for the lead. That'll determine how often you show up and what your budget is. And we'll talk about that in a second. But you see, reviews matter. The green checkbox matters because you're now Google screened. So you have to go through the process of getting Google screened. You have to submit your insurance information to Google, which you would get through EXP. And so setting up that, these are now more important for us because when someone types in real estate, this is the first thing people see. Then they see Google ads. Then they see maps. Then they see search engine rankings. So even though SEO is free, they got to scroll down to get to that. So the people that want to be at the top early, they have to pay. That's why Google is a $1 trillion company or whatever they are.
How do we get set up a local service ad versus the other ad?
So type in local service ad. That link is in the end of the slides. I'm in this right here. I'm going to hit get started. And maybe it'll open up. And so you just go through the process. It's gonna eligibility and the job categories. You'll see the different categories that are allowed for Google service ads, and they're probably adding more and more as they go. And real estate agents somewhere in here, real estate here, and you would just go through this process. Signing up, creating your profile. What I will do though is I'm going to just jump into mine real quick so that way you can I want to sign in.
While you're looking, Google has reached $1.25 trillion, in case anybody's wondering what their market cap is. So they're doing okay.
Yeah. They're being sued right now because they're by the DOJ because of their monopoly now. But whatever. Anyway, so this is we normally use the app for this, and basically when I go in here and I do my profile and budget, I'm Google screened. You have your information, job types. You can put these job types on here. I turned off property management because I'm not a property manager, but you can show all the things that you can do in here. I'm average weekly budget is $210. Okay, it's not per lead, it's how much you're spending per week. And it tells you about how many leads you'll get. And these are leads of people calling your number or texting you, I'm looking to sell a house. I'm looking to buy a house. Every once in a while, you will get people, I want to sell you on house cleaning since you're a real estate agent. That's not a lead. You can dispute those leads and they will refund you. Okay. That's the cool thing about local service ads. You know, you put your hours in, your service areas. And I think I put, I don't know what this is saying. If it's trying to say I'm in everywhere, I don't know. But anyway, you go through that process and set this up and you'll start showing up, but it's a paid service. But these will be probably the highest level of lead that you'll receive out of Zillow, realtor.com, pay-per-click, any of that stuff, other than sphere of influence. Okay. 2 minutes left. That covers a lot of stuff in 1 hour and a half. Obviously, there's more in depth that could be done with this. But it's, I'm sure Lindsay wants me to play this video. No, I guess I can't. Never mind.
Do it. Hit your screen share.
Make sure that you guys get the slides because there are some links at the end that Jake and I both thought would be valuable to you. So Jeff will share all that.
Yeah, I mean, what we did here is on the last link, there's some links here. That way you have some quick links to get where you want to go.
Just in case.
Any quick questions, anything? I hope, you know, the key is that if you can come out of this with a little bit of value, some of you have been doing a lot of this or some of it or whatever. There's a lot to it, but it comes down to really getting your name out there, getting people to know who you are, and doing some of the free stuff, some of the paid stuff, and taking advantage of it.
This was so rocking, guys. And here's what I want to ask is, yeah, if you guys know how to use the reactions button at the bottom, click the raise hand and just raise your hand, and then we'll call on people. Joanne has her hand up. Joanne, what was your question?
I just wanted to make kind of a comment on how great the content was. And Jake, you know, he doesn't have a lot of time to do this himself, but if you do have time, and let's say you're an agent that's like considering going to take a job for 15 bucks an hour because you don't have any real estate business, this would probably pay off a lot more than $15 an hour if you spent 10 or 20 hours a week for a month or so before you go take a job, and see if you can generate some free leads for yourself that could lead to a closed transaction, which would pay you a lot more than going and punching a clock somewhere. So I just want to encourage somebody that if you do have time, like Jake doesn't, but you might, go do that before you consider leaving this great career.
Yeah, and Steve made a comment about digging into KV Core. The #1 focus for a new agent should be in your CRM and working the database. CRM should be opened up more than your email box, more than your texting app and all that. Mike Holt, what's happening, my man? And real quick, Mike Holt was nominated to speak at the Shareholder Summit. Everybody, you know, put the link in there, Mike. Let's get people voting for you. I want to see you up on stage there. I looked to see how many votes I got. I got 16. I was glad that it wasn't 0, and I'm fine not speaking. I would rather promote you to speak because you're an awesome speaker too. So everyone vote for Mike to speak at Shareholder Summit. But you had a question.
Yeah, well, I had more of a comment, guys. I really appreciate this. Like this, you know, I tell Jeff, I tell everybody every time I see these things, man, like this is amazing. I feel like every time I come to one of these, I learn something new. I'm privileged enough to have access to you and get to learn firsthand, man. But this is stuff that I really want to dive into, and I really just appreciate all the knowledge. You too, Liz. Like you guys are rock stars. I really, really, really appreciate it. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Mike, appreciate you, man.
Hey, Jake. Well, or something too, you guys, if more people want to get deeper into that LSA, the local service ads, I can help with that. I've set tons of people up and went through the process when, like with Jake, when we first started, when it was really new and it was crazy, horrible headache. It's gotten a lot better, but it's quite the process actually.
Scott, did you just volunteer to do a CORE90 session on that, bro?
It sounds like it.
No.
In 45 minutes, Scott has
Yeah,
volunteered to pay me some money on the golf course in 45
Yeah,
minutes.
exactly. I plan on winning some money from Jake here in a minute. So yeah, no, I would do that. It's a lot. It's pretty complicated, honestly, to get it all set up correctly. If they have you jump through a lot of hoops, and Google is not really great to work with. They do assign you, by the way, when you start it, they'll assign you a rep. But the reps, well, when I did it, the reps didn't know shit. Like
They're in the
really
same place
didn't.
as your ISA.
Exactly.
No, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, no, they really didn't. They really weren't help. They couldn't help. They didn't know. Like there was nobody to talk to that knew anything. They just got to tell you, go here, go there. They couldn't give you an explanation. If you have multiple offices or you're going into multiple different counties like Jake does, I do that. It's tough. It's different, but there's a lot of ways to do it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
you
so
can make
you
it
can
work.
have a class on each of these sections and go in depth. This is more of an overview so you can show what's possible. And then you can decide, where do I want to go? My business page, absolutely. If you don't have one, do that today or tomorrow. And then do it again on Bing. Do it again on Yelp. It's free in all of those places. It's like having real estate, having signs on different streets.
It's your digital signage, man. Well, this is incredible. Listen, I want to respect everyone's time. We're going to wrap up on time today. You guys, please show a little bit of love in the chat for these guys. Let them know that you appreciate their time. They are not getting paid to be here, but I want you to know it's because they care about building the community together with you guys. They care about being strong leaders, and strong leaders are not all about themselves. What you guys will learn is paying it forward is actually how you get forward in the world. You help other people, and that means other agents too. Other agents are other people. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much. By the way, back here next week, I want you guys to know we're bringing in Greg Fowler to talk to us about automations, funnels, building ad campaigns, how to drive even more traffic. Jake was talking about traffic equals more business, contacts equals contracts. We're doing that next week. Same time, same bat channel, right back here.